commanding the block. Burgundy and gold, got the city on lock. Hustling plays, ain't no need to pretend. DC reppin' strong and we fight to the end. Commanders moving, no breaks, no pause. Hands in the dirt, respecting the call. KDot and Amit, dissect the grind. District divider with a city in mind. Trying to dance why, don't miss a bit. And you gotta spread the words, or shit is shit. KDot.
Just a little bit of vape this time. Welcome to District Divider, DC Sports Podcast. Technically a Washington Commanders podcast. I don't know. What the hell is he usually saying? I'm rolling solo dolo. It's just KDot here today. Yeah, I don't know if I'm in the best mood as far as this goddamn game goes, but hey, I'm in a better mood than A-Train, who partied a little too hard. Or, Saturday Commanders game is probably not good for anybody, especially the residents of Clarendon. God bless all of you guys. Good luck, and I'm wishing A-Train recovers and learns some lessons in this one. Also, share this shit, like, subscribe, comment, do all that shit. We'll read the comment mailbag a little later, but what we're going to do is kind of breeze through some initial post-game reactions before I kind of dig into the All-22 tape before our next episode, which I'm not entirely sure when it's going to be. I know we got the Christmas game. I don't know how many of you guys are going to watch that Commanders-Cowboys game now that it's the oh-so-wonderful quarterback duel of Josh Johnson versus Dak Prescott. What the fuck is this? One thing we had to hang out with. All right. So, post-game, going to kind of go through what it is I thought was good, what it is I thought was bad. It's probably a mixed bag as far as everything goes. I don't think anybody was necessarily perfect on this, but let's get started on this shit. All right, early on, we did tell you in this last episode, we told you in this last episode that early on in this game, we're going to kind of know exactly we're going to kind of know what this game is going to be about. And sure enough, shout out to Larry Izzo and the special teams unit, the ones that we've been shouting out the last couple weeks, to start off the game with that damn turnover. Can you give anybody a better shot at something than that? Like, we were right there. We had an opportunity. You start off, you can't start any better. You start with the possession. You're going to get the possession again in the second half. It was awesome. And look, we started off awesome. Look at these plays. Look, right. So, cover the ball. 3-yard run, Chris Rodriguez. 7-yard pass, Marcus to Terry. Gotta want to get Terry involved early. Want to get those juices flowing, right? Then a 5-yard run by Chris Rodriguez. Then a 6-yard run by Chris Rodriguez. Then a 3-yard run from Chris Rodriguez. Then we're sitting at 2nd and goal, Philadelphia 2. Incomplete pass, short. Incomplete pass to Burks. I know the Burks, it's a possibility of some things happening with that, but still. I don't love the idea that you get there, you get down there at the you end up with a field goal. Long story, you end up with the fucking field goal. I don't understand in that particular situation early on in the game. You stick with the goddamn run. Now, I know later on, Cliff did have some moments where he stuck with the run and stuck with it completely. But it felt like this entire game, and I'm trying to stick to good, but once again, like I said, it's always a mixed bag. It's the idea that, every once in a while it feels like we do have that identity, and then we just get too cute. And I know you can't telegraph every run on first down. I get it. You got to kind of go away from it sometimes. Second to short. But, your team has 4 wins. You had to go, just ran the fucking football. It's been working. But then to walk away with the 3 points when you're that damn near at the goal line, it's like, who are we? I thought playing like a commander means we go for it in those sort of circumstances. Now, I get that there's a thought process in that hey, man, we didn't expect to get the football back this early. It's 3 free points, right? So we started the game with 3 points. It's 3 points about. That just doesn't seem to be the way that we need to be living, especially when it comes to that. It just felt as though, now while I won't say that it probably had any impact from an emotional standpoint, at least in that particular point of the game, because our guys were flying, at least early on. You could see what it is they were doing with keeping Philadelphia's offense kind of disjointed over the course of the day until the end. But, yeah, man, I just don't get it. I don't get, who are we? There are just moments throughout the game in which you're just like, did we want to win? I feel like we did want to win. I feel like the only time it really seemed as though we didn't really give a shit was when Josh Johnson went out, but then you get the whole 2-point conversion thing, which I don't think I'm going to get into all that much. Fuck Nick Sirianni. Fuck the Philadelphia Eagles. I am liking that there's a bit of a rivalry happening, and Hard Knocks is going to be really interesting tomorrow. Yeah, so it's just disjointed. There were moments where it looks like the rushing attack ends up being something, and then we just kind of go away from it for no reason. And on Marcus's standpoint, overall, Marcus is still putting together pretty damn good games. I will say there were some moments in this one where he looked a little more shaky than normal. There's been so long you can rely on your second string quarterback to do anything. When you get to the third string quarterback, mamma mia, fuck that. Yeah, no, not great. But there were definitely some issues out there where Marcus Mariota, he just looked a little shaky, especially one of the sacks out there was just kind of. Then also, like, man, you know what? Fuck it. Fuck the good versus bad. I'm just gonna. Everything's a mixed bag, man. You come out of halftime, and you just kind of go pass heavy. Like you just had this like long dominating rushing attack, and it's like you kind of go away from it. I don't know if offense coordinators just get fucking bored. Is that what it is? You just get bored? Like, you guys just don't like running the football? Like, it's what it is. I won't understand that. To me, it's not great. But, like, oh, man, my brain is all over the damn place. See, this game was such a weird one, man. Like, you go into this game not really expecting anything. Like, I think the key words were, like, we would have a chance if there was some NFC East fuckery. There was definitely some fuckery afoot, at least for a good portion of this game. And it felt like it was right there. And there's nothing more that I think Washington fans or Washington team at this point want anything more than to stick their fucking thumb right in the Philadelphia Eagles' eye and just try to shit on their division win, or most likely the division win when it's now official. But you just kind of want to just stand in their way a little bit. I know with the fight and everything else, and with a couple games, I mean, I don't know how much Josh Johnson's going to inspire, but it does feel, at least part of the good here for me is that it does actually feel like we got a bit of a rivalry happening. You could see at certain portions of this game, kind of like we talked about the pre-show, they did a lot of stuff in the offseason as far as beefing up that defensive line, specifically to stop Saquon Barkley. Now, I know that Philadelphia's offense has not been moving the same click, but throughout a good portion of that game, we did keep the lid, for the most part, on Saquon. Once again, kind of like last year, eventually it just opens up. But I think Saquon had more success holistically over the course of the game last year than they did this time. Not to mention, of course, we do not have our measures. Ends up being the big thing for us this year, more than any other thing. It's, God, Josh Johnson. I can't even, like, I know Sam Hartman. I think Sam Hartman looked terrible last time we saw him play. But yeah, it's just disjointed. Who are we? Are we the team that goes for it on fourth down? Are we the team that thinks that, like, hey, with 4 wins left in the year and we want to stick our finger there in the Philadelphia Eagles' eye, we're going to lay 4 points on the board and just kick field goals after we get away from the run? Like, who the fuck are we? Are we punch you in the mouth? Are we trying to be finesse? Like, who are we? What are we trying to do? What is it to be a commander? It feels as though every time they get a little sliver of what that is, it kind of goes away. But then that even said, I liked a lot of the performance they had. They showed a lot of heart in this game. Maybe that's all it means to be a commander. And I kind of like to fight. Fuck those hoes. Like, I like to. This is it's just frustrating. It's like there's so many, like, there's good things, but there's bad things. There's the penalties. Now, oh God, the refs. I don't think I'm putting them in the mixed bag category as far as, like, Jesus Christ. The refereeing is, I don't like to complain about refereeing, but God damn, they've made it really, really hard not to notice them. That's the only thing. I don't want to notice you. Just do your goddamn job and let the players play. But God, there was some weird fucking thing. And Brandon Coleman, like, that goddamn holding, like, that's what, I get that that's what, but, like, come on, what are you supposed to, like, it's like, knock the fucking hands down, take that bitch down to the ground. Like, what are we doing? Come on, man. It's just goddamn bullshit, man. Yeah, and then, like, also just the other part of this is just more the bad is just that the injuries keep on coming. Marcus Mariota going down felt extra sad. Like, it did feel as though, full disclosure, just because of the way I saw the disjointedness of the team as far as, like, what it is that we thought we were doing. It's almost like we were almost surprised that we were still in this game, which I don't understand. But when Marcus went down, it did feel as though it's like, yeah, man. This ain't our season. But I don't think that if Marcus stayed in the game, we win it. I honestly don't. I still think we lose this game. But I do think it's closer. I don't think they blow the brakes off of us. I think we maybe get some longer sustained drives in there that don't allow them to score that many points. Not to mention we don't get the Josh Johnson, whatever the fuck that was. I'm not really going to have a lot to say about Josh Johnson. It's not great that we have to go to him. But once you get to your third string quarterback, shit's dire. Okay? Shit gets dire. And then Jalen Lane, like that was a nasty hit. It felt as though that could have been like really, really bad. And Jalen Lane being a bit of a spark as far as the punt return game, there's just some people that need to talk to him about some of his decision making back there. I hope B Mitch gets an opportunity to crack at that. Shit, man, I'm looking through my notes. Like literally, I have like the good, the bad on like each particular unit, but everything's so muddled. It's just so bad. Sanders still had some flashes, at least early on. Well, not early on. He does get beat by, I think it's him that gets beat by Devontae Smith. But he had some moments as far as tackling. I know that somebody in the comment mailbag said something about having him as, like, being safety. Every once in a while, he has some of these really physical moments that it's, like, cool. Not to mention he really does like looking in the backfield and not necessarily being where he needs to be all the time. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people also talk about like why it is that they play so far back off the line of scrimmage, which I know is something that I don't really necessarily love. But you could see in it that Mike Sanderson, he executed the way that I think that they think they want to conceptually, which is that, hey, we have the speed to close down and at least make the tackle. And that's what they did. Like, he could close down, make the tackle, at least kind of disrupt what's happening as far as the pass, keep things in front of them. They just don't trust, and nobody trusts anybody to not get beat over the top. And it does feel every once in a while it's like you have somebody that's like 3 steps too far inside or working improper leverage of some sort, and then somebody's just beating you over the top. And I know that they don't want that to be the case. But I do want to look up more of that in the All-22 as far as what's happening with the secondary. Because I will say, I don't think there's anybody in that secondary unit that hasn't pissed me off like to a really high degree at some point this season. I mean, same thing with the linebacker. Shit, man, I really say everybody on this team except maybe the defensive line as a whole unit has probably pissed me off at a good push point of this game. But I will say overall, like we know going into this game, the tackling was not necessarily our biggest forte. I know that I forget what the stat was, but it was something like the amount of yards that we gave up with missed tackles was like insane on defense. And for the most part, they did a good job, at least throughout certain portions of this game, doing some of the tackling. I think Jonathan Jones had a good tackle on Saquon, like one-on-one, that was pretty fucking dope. Like, you know, nobody gives a shit because I also think they got a first down on that, but it did show like, hey, these guys can be physical when they need to. Also, shout out to Bobby Wagner on the blitz. They haven't really been going at that well all that often recently. Understandably so. It did look like Bobby was going to become one-dimensional, and the teams pretty much had that kind of nailed up, but it does feel like he's a little more fresh, or at least he's feeling it just a bit more than he has been. And there's some moments that he looks pretty good. And there are also some times where I just want to I want to point out that there are some times where it does look like some of the linebackers or anything are like missing their assignments, or there's somebody that goes free. But I'll tell you that like when you look at the All-22, sometimes the safety placement gets a little weird, and sometimes you got guys that are just on that second level that are not dropping back where they need to in that zone. They're leaving. They're not doing their job. They're worried about somebody else's job. And my thing with this is that like guys, none of you guys are necessarily doing your jobs at a clip good enough to be worried about everybody else is fucking doing. Just kind of focus on what it is that you need to be doing. Safe for me to say from the comfort of my fucking couch. Yeah, man. The missed tackles then ended up getting bad, and I did see it. It's over 900 yards after missed tackles. Greg Olson, shout out to you. You're dope. Yeah, it's just that's not just like bad luck. That's bad angles. That's leverage. That's terrible as far as finishing. That's never good, and that's kind of been the MO for us for good portions of this season. Like to see that Saquon run. There were multiple Saquon runs where it just looked absolutely fucking ridiculous. Then also the overall coverage structure. I just think that we're in the situation where it's like there's been so much we can do, unless they really want to just go for broke with playing some of the young guys, and maybe we get the break speed off of us. But with them going like the 2 tight end sets, forcing us like really into a base package and not really diverging too much from what it is we were doing with the base package, it left a lot of the linebackers at risk. Once again, I think holistically, overall, the entire unit defensively just does not do a good enough job communicating. But I'll learn more about that in the All-22. Yeah, man. It's, man. Oh, the punt. And the body language after the punt. That just didn't look good. The brawl. I like the brawl in the sense of what it means in this team's not liking each other, and I'm okay with it's not like a Philadelphia. Philadelphia's the benchmark, man. They're the ones that beat up on us. I mean, everybody remembers what happened in the NFC Championship game and everything that happened last year. But they're the team that look like in this offseason we were trying to address more than anybody else, in the sense of trying to stop what they were doing with the run attack. And you saw what happened when Nick Sirianni went for 2. Dan Quinn's not the biggest fan of it. I actually thought it was some bullshit move, but at the end of the day, you got to stop the other team from fucking scoring. Otherwise, they get to do whatever they want to do, celebrate, whatever. Also think that, like, if you kind of look, from what I was seeing, it looked like there was some stuff that was getting a little chippy that wasn't necessarily getting called. There were a lot of piles and stuff that were happening in this game. From what I was seeing on camera, it looked like someone was getting punched. Like on every pile or anything that was happening. It just felt like it was an extremely physical game. I don't know what happens in 2 weeks from now. Like, from a talent standpoint, Philadelphia should probably beat the brakes off us again, especially if we're going with a third-string quarterback. But at the end of the day, I want to see this fight in this team, and it did feel as though they had a whole hell of a lot of fight in them until at the end of the day, you have your third-string quarterback is now starting, is now in for you. And you have, from the top down, a coaching staff that wasn't even sure if they wanted this one. It felt as though that feels a little harsh, but maybe it's accurate. Or if they just want to get out there with their health. Nothing went well. Nothing went according to plan. It's just, yeah, it's rough, man. It's rough. But yeah, shout out to Larry Izzo. Shout out to some of the guys all over. I mean, I got to look at the All-22. I don't remember Johnny Newton necessarily doing anything to snap. I mean, once again, I think everybody kind of played a part in the Russian set. But now I'm just kind of rambling, man. I'll look at the All-22 on this one. You guys can join me for that if you want to. I don't know how many people really into this season going forward. I'm into it because it's still got guys young that I want to see develop, and I want to see them continue to fight, man. Like, that's why I'm here in it right now. I just want to see these fuckers fight. I want to see them with this mentality. I want to see them kind of hark back to how it is they were kind of feeling themselves last year. I'd like to get some wins before the end of this. Yeah, I mean, there's not that many left. I want to fucking beat Philly before the end of the season. I don't give a shit if they got the third stringers in there or whatever. I want to beat Philly. I don't like these motherfuckers, and I know Hard Knocks is going to be probably illuminating in that sense as far as just pointing out where it is that we are in this fucking rivalry. Yeah, no love lost to these assholes. And with that, let's go on to the comment mailbag.
Comment mailbag.
Nope. Fuck that. Nikki, no, that's done. You're never hearing her again on this podcast. You dumb, you stupid. You stupid. All right, on to the comments. But yeah, if you guys need a jingle, comment mailbag. Yeah, comment mailbag. Or maybe I know the right. I mean, I wrote it. Comment mailbag time, motherfucker. But now it sounds like I'm trying to be Nikki. Nobody's trying to be Nikki right now. Fuck that hoe. All right. So, I don't know what order I'm supposed to go on with this shit. Sometimes I just kind of check out when Amit is actually reading your guys' comments. Sorry, but yeah, you guys want to interact with the show, we're definitely going to read these shits. If it was up to me, probably wouldn't read them, but I'm going to keep the A-Train Amit spirit alive on this one. All right, Jamal, BB Shaban, this could turn out to be the best week of the season with all the good matches if the game last night is any indication. Yeah, there were some good moments. I made some decent money in the early window, and then everything kind of went to shit. Shout out to Travion Henderson. Sorry, man, I don't mean to. I hope you have a speedy recovery, but god damn did my parlays die. Sad deaths last night. Also, Jamal, I don't think I like this Hard Knocks thing. I'm starting to feel for our opponents in the division. Kind of goes to show why governments dehumanize and demonize their enemies. No doubt. You try to get into war mode, right? Look, I will say there are certain portions of Hard Knocks that reinforce that, like, hey, man, this is just fandom. This is just a game. When I say I hate these fuckers or, like, fuck these guys, this is all within the context of the game. These guys are human beings, man. And at the end of the day, it's just a luck of the draw that they're not here in the burgundy and gold compared to that shitty Kelly Green, right? And that shitty-ass city up there. I probably got more against the Philadelphia Eagles fans than I'll do anything about the players because, I mean, the fans, like, the fuck, they're just ill. But yeah, I don't. It's good that they're humanizing him. But at the end of the day, if Jalen Hurts was wearing burgundy and gold, if A.J. Brown was wearing burgundy, or Saquon Barkley was wearing burgundy, you'd fucking root for him like shit. So I just don't want to. It's okay to like some of these guys, but surface level, just keep it clean, keep it fun. They're human beings. You can playfully say as a fan, man, fuck these guys. Like, it feels good to say fuck Jalen Hurts, right? Feels good. Got nothing against him, man. Nothing personally. Probably shake his hand. Might want an autograph, right? Yeah, but it comes out. Also, Jamal, I agree 100%. JD should take sitting him as punishment for his performance this year. By the way, I'm not at all worried about him being injury prone. I think he's flexible as a noodle. He had some of the hardest hits last year with no major injury. Them shits are going to start stacking up, man. Look, I ain't necessarily going to worry about him being injury prone just yet. It's kind of felt a little random. But you got to stop. Like, you can't keep getting hurt. Like, it's not a good thing. It's not a good trend if you're going to follow any trends. If I'm just going off of, like, how many games he's playing as of right now. Not enough data to support anything, but it's trending not necessarily in the right direction. Just technically. I just want that to get better more than anything. And as far as him getting treated as a punishment, I don't want to saw like Jaden had some absolute piss poor shit year. He had some moments in the year. I don't think that overall we knew who we were identity-wise on offense. I do think even what you saw in this game, and I think that's why that Philadelphia Eagles game is so frustrating, is it felt like a microcosm of the entire season, like truncated in something. Like it was this unevenness. Sometimes you see all this effort, but it's all for naught because they make boneheaded mistakes and they shoot themselves in the foot here and there, and they're not playing just regular fundamental football when shit breaks down the way that it does sometimes. It's rough. So like I don't think anybody's helping anybody, and the injuries definitely didn't help anybody, and the wide receiving room not having the full complement, like nothing really trended to help out anyone to really have success this season. But my thing with JD is that there are certain things that he needs to get over. He needs to get through certain things that I see just looking at the film that, like, a decision-making standpoint that could be better. And my thing is that, like, in order to, if I've seen the play on the field, then every once in a while I get a little better. Because you remember that you had that game in which it was the Vikings game, in which that first drive looked like, holy shit, we might have something, guys. And then they go on that long-ass drive that takes fucking forever, and now Jaden's cold. Works out. I don't want to be too harsh on the kid, but at the end of the day, I was hoping, or I am hoping, kind of like you're saying, Jamal, that, like, I know he wants to be out there, and I think that maybe not being out there is going to force him to do everything he needs to do to get back out there. That's it. Also, Jamal, in order for the Cowboys to win the division, the Eagles will have to lose their remaining games and won't even make them. That didn't matter anymore. We already know how that fucking ended up. Not the way I wanted it to. Kind of wanted the Eagles to just lose, and I want the Cowboys to win. Know how I feel about that. The Cowboys losing in the playoffs is so much sweeter than the Eagles just sucking, because that city will rip itself the fuck apart. Tony P. Amit, are you saying you wouldn't take Jeremiah Love? Is he the next Jahmyr Gibbs? I'll leave that for Amit. Coach Lombard, fuck me. Coach, let's do this, man. Curious what you guys think about T-Law. I thought he's been overrated since day one, but as Liam Cohen unlocked the top QB, he's looked great the past couple weeks. Jacksonville's just weird, man. Like Jacksonville, I think proximity to Bermuda Triangle and shit just got weird shit happening there. It's also like my least favorite city. Trevor Lawrence, I never bought into the hype early on. I think I was just being weird about his hair, I'm being completely honest. But then I saw a photo of him after a victory of him in a Waffle House with like some of his offensive linemen and stuff, and I was like, I'll forever love this man. Whether or not I think he was going to work out as quarterback, I don't know. But I don't think anything really happens that's right in Jacksonville. Just always going to be some weird shit. They're going to fly under the radar, and nobody's weirder than fucking Liam Cohen. So, like, it's weird stuff happening. But, yeah, I'm going to say that I've never been truly sold on Trevor Lawrence as much as I just root for shit to have success because he likes Waffle House. The Nathan Perry. I'm with KDot. Good. It's good to be on my page. On nixing draft looks until the offseason. I will say I'm confused about people being excited about a safety when all I heard was you don't take a safety that high when Kyle Hamilton was a first-round prospect. Vendo replied to this in the thread. Respectfully, it's best player available. If he is there, you don't pass on him. He is that good. Nathan then replied, Amit doesn't usually do these, but whatever. I 100% agree and said the same thing about Hamilton. He was a top 5 prospect in the draft, but fell because safety wasn't valued. Yeah, man, fuck that shit. I'm not looking at draft stuff just yet. Just won't do it. This is bad juju. Not to mention, like, everybody that talks about the high draft pick thing, it's something I talked to a friend. I got a friend who's been on the show, and he drops shit in the comments. Brownie, piece of shit. Me and him have conversations going back years now, maybe decades at this point, about tanking. He's a believer in tanking, I think, to some degree. I'm not, especially when it comes to football. I think basketball is much easier to do. You got more control over certain things. In football, there's too much at risk as far as from an injury health standpoint. It's just hard to do. But what I will say is this. The thing that I don't think people talk about enough when it comes from a tanking standpoint or trying to get draft position is how often the same teams are usually up there drafting. And you'd think that if they had enough shots of getting some of those top prospects that they would be better. They're not. Losers are losers, man. I don't want to be a loser. I'm done with that shit. I'd rather be fucking middle of the pack or later. I get it. I understand people want best player available, but sometimes this draft is a goddamn crapshoot. And I also think that when you get into that upper echelon, the only reason I'm saying anything as far as, and I know a lot of the fan base is also saying, like, you want to get up so you can trade down and get a lot more draft picks. I get that. I understand that. I'm just saying the best teams are not usually the ones that are always sitting there at the top. I don't want to be. That's kind of the point of the fucking draft, right? If you're sitting at the top, it means your season didn't go well, or you traded something really, really good to get there. But it's like at the end of the day, I don't want to. I'm not relying on that shit, and I don't want that to be what any. I want to have a winner. I'd rather teach what winning looks like. And I know the worst thing you can be is like that middle of the pack, like 8-8, just not going anywhere. And I don't think this team is going to be the ones that do that. I really do think this season was the season from hell. I do think this team, with the talent it is right around a 500 team. That's what I went with my predictions going into this season. And I think a 500 teams in year 2 of a rebuild, where the cupboard was left as bare as it was, is impressive to me. Now, it didn't end up that way, but also, season from hell, the injuries came in like a motherfucker. The only team that probably has a better season from hell designation justification is probably Kansas City, just because of the Mahomes going down aspect of it, and then Gardner Minshew actually going down too. But as far as just the way that it goes over the course of the season, I think they even showed the graphic as far as the amount of starts that's missing. Like, it's bad. It's just there's nothing good that's going to come of this. I don't know how many teams will be able to survive this at all. Like, you look at the Lions even last year, the ones that we basically beat the shit out of in the playoffs, and you look at that war attrition aspect. Even with what it is that they suffer from an injury standpoint, their talented players are still much more talented than us. That's not a 500 team that gets injured. That's a 14-win team that gets really, really hurt. There's a difference there. I just think the NFC Championship game last year set these expectations at a much higher level than anyone really needed to have them at. It's just, I just think it's calling it a buck, man. And I do think if they were 100% like this entire season, and Jaden made progress, kind of like the last saw on like that first drive against the Minnesota Vikings, that everybody would feel a lot better. But I do think that there is going to be a jump from this season to next season. And when I say jump, it doesn't mean we're going to be back in the NFC Championship game. But that trajectory that we've been talking about when it comes to that rebuild, I do think it gets better. Because, like, I the only Adam Peters decision that I am completely not on board with so far is the Marshawn Lattimore one. I understand Tunsil. I understand Debo. I understand even Payne Terry. I get it all. And I'm not going to – I won't relent on that. Maybe I'm wrong, but it is what it is. Earl Bruce. I think they need a CB or a defensive lineman. If they have a top 5 pick, hopefully they can trade back and recoup picks. The upcoming free agents aren't great for either position. How do you see things playing out in the draft? No idea. It's probably going to be better off to answer those questions than I am right now. I have no idea where the best player is. I have no idea where it is. They ranked at least, or maybe I got some ideas, but I'm just not ready to get into it. And I really haven't watched that much college football this season. Not really any season. Really. I'm a Boston College fan. There's not a lot to root for there. Marty Collins. It's nice to have the depth on the offensive line. I feel that's going to be our strength going forward. Yeah, until they all get fucking hurt, right? Like, yeah, I do feel good about the offensive line as a whole. We just don't have the full complement of guys. And Brandon Coleman, I do want him to be out there more at times, but I do think that athleticism that shows to have him as like the extra lineman and some of these jumbo packages stuff could get kind of interesting. I'd even be more surprised that I see some of the big boys touchdowns. Brandon Coleman should probably be in that mix. I mean, I'd rather get the tight ends involved first, but we'll see how that goes. Marty also. Hey, fellas, it was nice to get a win. Sweep these pesky Giants. How can we compete with the world champion Philadelphia Eagles? Now can we compete with the world champion Philadelphia Eagles? We could for a portion of the game. I agree with the assessment on Ben Sinnott and our tight ends. This is all Martin Collins. It sucks there is no playoff implications. What do you guys think about Drake Jackson's possible start against the Eagles? I love Doc Walker too. I like Bobby Wagner. Do you guys want to bring back Wags? All those things. I love Doc Walker as well. Everybody loves Doc Walker. Still don't know who the fuck Drake Jackson is, although I did see Jackson's name at some point in this thing. I've read up about him since I didn't really know who he was. And he's just one of those guys, kind of like the Traylon Burks thing. It's like, oh, is he talent that's like there that maybe hasn't necessarily had a good break or had good luck? I don't know. What else was it? The assessment on Ben Sinnott. Yeah, man, I just wanted to see them throw the ball at Ben Sinnott. I actually really do think that there might be a playmaker there in a team that's desperate for some playmakers. I mean, more on defense and offense, but still, guys. Maybe Josh Johnson that ends up being a safety valve. But once again, I just don't think it's in the playbook, man. I just don't think it's in the playbook. Vindow. Let me group these two for Vindow. Also, not ruling him out allows him to still practice and travel with the team. That's basically why he never went to IR. Talking about Jaden. It is early, but Caleb Downs, Anthony Hill, Jr., CJ Allen. And once again, I'm not getting the trade stuff. I'm not getting the draft stuff. Amit, if you guys want to talk about it again, I'm sure this is going to be something that's talked about a lot. I just think we can wait a few weeks. I'm still enjoying watching football as a whole. And I still know that even when watching them lose, I'm going to miss the fact that we are right here near at the end of this season, and I'm going to have to wait a year and talk about bullshit and get my hopes up and down and argue about all this nonsense in the offseason. Like, I don't think you guys understand how much I do not like the offseason. I want to watch these guys play. B. Wheeler. Not going to lie. It definitely sucks seeing the Bears having the season we had last year. I usually pride myself in not being a hater, but I'm full-fledged hating. The fans make me pull against them every week, and I've been disappointed almost every game this season, just venting. I get the sentiment. The only thing with the Bears thing, I am surprised about the success the Bears are having this season, but it's something that I kind of relented on in this offseason, is that I actually do think Ben Johnson is doing an amazing job. I didn't really have a lot of faith in him as far as a head coach, and I'm telling you that was not me coping with the fact that he rebuffed our guys while they were on an airplane. I've been feeling this way about Ben Johnson way before that. I have not. You can go back through the Rolodex episodes, and that really changed for me. But from what I saw over the course of this offseason, I think he's got these guys dialed in. And unlike Amit, I am a believer in Caleb Williams. I think he's only going to get better with time, and I actually am kind of surprised that the way that these guys have kind of meshed, but they've got him working. And if you guys haven't seen like the locker room speech that he gave, and he gave it like 4 game balls. Look, we clowned the fucking Bears last year about the Hail Mary, deservedly so. What Tyler Stevenson was doing, like we could do that. The fact that they bounced back this year, Ben Johnson ends up being a very, very competent person. Unlike a lot of the people they had there before, who I blame for a lot of bullshit. I'm happy for Caleb and what it is that Chicago's doing. And I still do think from a long-term standpoint, I still like where we are positioned if we just continue to work at certain shit. Where else are we going to have? All right, so we're nearing the end. B. Wheeler also, I'm hating on the Patriots too. I don't really dislike the players, but I definitely dislike the fans. Patriots fans are, like, there are a few jerseys I've ever owned that are not Commanders jerseys or Redskins jerseys. As a matter of fact, looking back, I think there's only one that I can offhand say that I've owned, which is a Tom Brady Patriots jersey. I am a fan of their greatness. I was a fan of how it is they went about doing things. I'm not somebody that hates for the sake of hating. Just don't believe in that shit. But I will say, as far as fan bases go, my least favorite fan base probably in the world is the Philadelphia Eagles. Just call it what it is. Beyond the Philadelphia Eagles, don't love Cowboys fans, but most of the time they're kind of harmless unless they're from the DMV area, which they love to fucking run their mouth. But historically, maybe they're on the right side of things, so who knows? That's where the 1 and 2 is. But I will say that's not always the way I feel. There's another fan base that kind of rivals those guys, and it's Boston Red Sox. Now, because Washington did not have a baseball team as I was growing up, I grew up a Yankees fan. I would never root for Peter Angelos and the Baltimore Orioles because they kept cock-blocking Washington from getting a team, although everyone loves Cal Ripken. The team that was easiest to fucking follow and always was in Camden Yards playing against the Orioles were the New York Yankees. Yeah, I know. I was a Yankees fan coming up, diehard Yankees fan. And I think the thing with that is that, like, seeing the Boston Red Sox fans trying to be like these lovable losers, but it was always bullshit, right? The curse of the Bambino. It's always blame, 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 cry, 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 bitch and moan about everything. It's weird having this complex of being a Massachusetts night where you're just like, you think you're better than me? And the case being, for a very long time, especially sports related, yeah. Outside of basketball and hockey, yeah, we're better than you. And there's this complex that just gets created, and they're just whiny little assholes. And I think is that now you had this segment of Patriots fans that were also kind of cool to kind of be around, at least early on, because that team sucked ass for so long. And they were just happy to be there. And majority of the Patriots fans were not people that were necessarily going to Celtics or Red Sox games. They were the Pats sucked. They were cheap tickets to go to. It's your working class team, and those guys kind of rooted for their team, and I appreciated those guys. I think those guys do. Now, the thing being is that getting fucking old, you look at the Patriots were that dynasty for a very long time, and a lot of those old OG fans died off, like I'm being completely honest. And now you have this entire crop or generation that have only known success. I live in Baltimore. My last ex-girlfriend, who was actually texting me last night watching the Ravens game. Do you know how much I don't give a fuck about Ravens fans complaining about this season? I can't care. I'm a Commanders fan. We're Commanders fans. To understand or to know, like, man, nothing's going our way. It's all fucking wrong. Do you understand, motherfuckers? Do y'all understand what pain actually looks like? I don't think you guys do. I don't think there's any point of reference. Even talking to that bitch ass Brendan. Love you, buddy. When he talks to me about, like, the woes of Green Bay this year, oh, man, we're right there, Micah Parsons, and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, bitch, how many quarterbacks have you seen play for your team in the course of your life? 4? Fuck you. How many am I getting this season? Like, what are we talking about? There's no point of reference. So you get these fan bases that just don't understand, don't know how to do it. Trust me, it's on a reverse standpoint. I hear a lot of us, our fan base pisses me off because we only know how to fucking lose. And I don't think a lot of us even have the mentality or understanding or putting things into perspective. So you get people like Amit, who actually thought that the Commanders and the Ravens were going to be in the Super Bowl this year. Ha! I like crack rocks. All right. Coach Lombard to end it off. Jess Santo, I wish you were here, buddy. I wish you were here. All right. This game reminds me a lot of 55-23 in a lot of ways. This is post-game. Washington played hard for the first 3 quarters, but both games were basically over at 3-0. Philly is sloppy, and will hopefully clean up the offense consistency, and we'll have special teams the next couple of weeks. Dan Quinn pussied out in both games, going for 3, punting on 4th down. Dan Quinn was trying to save face and gave up on his team. I'm curious what you guys thought of the fight. Going for 2 was definitely an FU move. Philly doesn't have any respect for Washington. I'm not sure they have to. Will it be a third-string quarterback, Johnson or Hartman, in Week 18? Looking forward to hearing your thoughts about the game. See, Coach Lombard, this is what I'm saying as far as, like, where you're at and where you stand in my brain, okay? It's like, I agree with you, kind of like the way that you described with the way that the game sort of went. I'm with you like 3/4 of the way, and then you go a touch too far, and it makes me want to smack the shit out of you. So, like, Dan Quinn pussied out. I ain't going that far. I just think it's disjointed. They're not entirely sure who it is they are. Maybe I'm even getting more credit as far as Adam Peters being responsible for the Jaden being out, which is not something I wanted to do. I wanted to think it was more of a coaching decision, but the more and more you see, the more and more it looks like we're just not on the same page, which I don't love. But fuck you. I don't need. This is talking to coaching. Fuck you. I don't give a shit about that. But yeah, trying to save face and gave up on your team. I'm not buying that ever, and I'm never going to say that about Dan Quinn. And fuck you for even intimating that. And I get it as far as Philadelphia doesn't have any respect and not sure if they need to. That's kind of what it boils down to in the way that I feel as though it's like you lack respect. The team lacks respect. We are the underdog. And sure enough, throughout everything, with Josh Johnson, Sam Hartman, anybody else, doesn't really matter. I want to punch you disrespectful motherfuckers in your mouth. Game fun-wise, right? Like, that's what I want to do. I don't like you bitches. Your team colors suck. You guys are a bunch of fucking just walking crazy fucking hypocritical assholes. Your sports radio is overrated as fuck. you put Cheese Whiz on a fucking sandwich. It's just how mentally incapable you guys are doing shit properly. You just don't have, you lack couth. All right, that's what you lack fucking couth. That to me is who it is you guys are. You're just disrespectful for no fucking reason. I think it's just because you're in this like forgettable fucking area as far as the Commonwealth goes. Like you smack dab in between like DC and New York, and you just exist as this bastardized like fucking city of brotherly love. It's like outside of fucking Rocky, nobody gives a shit about you fuckers. Like your teams are good, not denying that shit. And I do think that the only reason a team is good is because like evil gets rewarded in this fucking country. Like the way I feel about you guys, it's like there's just things that pop in my head, just like a bunch of John Fetterman loving fuckers. Like, who gives a shit? Man, fuck off. Like, yeah, yeah, man. Thanks for looking forward to the thoughts, but it's like you give me 3/4 of respect and then a quarter of disrespect, and it's just, man, fuck it, fuck your energy, fuck all that shit. Love you, coach, and Philadelphia, man. Such a music is so good, and all the food outside the fucking cheesesteaks decent. Whatever, fuck all. Whatever, I'm done with this shit. 41 minutes, rolling solo. I don't know who the fuck is going to listen to this shit. I'm about to process it and send it over to the A-Train if he's even coherent or conscious in order to upload this bitch. I'm not even sure if the audio or anything is working properly in this motherfucker, so, like, gave him a best shot, guys. Well, I mean, I got to say that. Gave it a shot, guys. Kind of like the Commanders. 3/4 of the way through, and now I'm just rambling like a dumbass, and I'm late for something. This has been the show. Dish Divided, DC Sports Podcast, more specifically a Washington Commanders podcast. I am KDot. Signing off from myself and my co-host. I'm at the A-Train. Feel better soon, buddy. And we'll see you next episode where we're going to I'll go over the All-22, and then we'll preview the Christmas Day game. Wonder if I'll have to put together like a Christmas theme or something for you guys. I know I need to get rid of that Nikki. You dumb bitch. You fucking idiot. You fucking stupid. Yeah, man. I'm out this motherfucker. Peace, guys, and share this shit, please. God damn it. Fucking.
In DC, we're just hoping that you listen.